Hey, I'm over here. Can you see me? We're going to do the lesson for math today. We're going to use the digital lesson. So I'm going to guide you through that. I'm going to make myself disappear and take a look at this. Oops, wrong button. Just, here we go. There we go. Okay.
Hi! Guess what? Today is the last day of the school recycling contest. That truck is waiting to go to the recycling center. Click the truck to find out what it's carrying.
Well, I'm trying to.
Mr. Smith's class recycled 162 bottles. And Mrs. Johnson's class recycled 248 cans. How many bottles and cans is that in all? Well, I think we can add to find the sum. But do you need some help with these 3-digit numbers? I know. Why don't we see how to use place value to add 3-digit numbers? Come on, let's see how to do that.
Dante is planning a trip to Illinois.
Okay, so his airplane leaves from Dallas.
Let's add the distances to find how many miles Dante flies. You can use place value to add two add-ins.
So we've got one section between Dallas and Tulsa, that's 236 miles, and one between Tulsa and Chicago, that's 585 miles.
First, let's estimate 236 plus 585, so you can check your answer later. 236 rounded to the nearest hundred is 200.
Right, because the 3 made the 2 go down to stay the same.
And 585 rounded to the nearest hundred is 600.
Because that 8's our target number that brings it up to 600.
The sum of 200 and 600 is 800. That means the total number of miles Dante flies should be about 800.
So we have...
Now let's add the two numbers using place value.
So what we've done here...
Start by adding the ones.
...is we have estimated up here to find out, it's kind of going to check our answer and see if it came close, and if it's kind of close to this number, then we know we were on the right track. So place value, this is our normal adding. Let's take a look.
The sum of 6 ones and 5 ones is 11 ones, or 110 and 1 1.
So we stick that 1
You
10.
record the 1 1 in the ones place.
Right down here.
Then record the 1 10 in the tens place above the add-end. Now add the tens.
Okay, so did you see what we did here? 1 1, that number 11, the 1 stands for the 1 in the ones place. This one is 110, so that's why we recorded over here. Now let's add up all the tens.
The sum of 110, 3 tens, and 8 tens is 12 tens,
right?
or 100 2 tens.
4 plus 8
record
is 12.
the 2 tens, then record the 100 in the hundreds place above the add-end.
So this is kind of confusing.
Next, add the hundreds.
Because he keeps interrupting me. Just kidding. This is kind of confusing because they're talking tens and hundreds over here. But if you learned math the way I did, you are thinking, well, we're just adding 1 plus 3 is 4 and 4 plus 8 is 12. So we put the 2 here and the 1 up here. But if you remember that we're in the tens place, okay, this 2 over here, if we're in the tens place, we have to add sort of an imaginary 0 to the end of 12. So it's really 120. But really what you need to remember is that we record the first number here, the 2, and then we record the next place value number over here where it belongs in the hundreds.
Since the sum of the 100, 200s, and 500s is 800s, you record 800s. Now let's see if the sum is reasonable. Our estimate was 800. So is 821 about 800?
Does that round
Yes,
down
it
to
is.
800?
That means
Yeah.
821 is a reasonable answer. So, on his trip, Dante flies 821 miles. Try using place value to add 3 addends.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think they're going to tell us. Oh, never mind. Before I click it, why don't you help me walk me through it, okay? First, I want to do something real quick with my screen. I'm going to make it a little smaller just so I can watch my time, because last time I made it big, the time ran out. So I want to be able to watch the time. There we go. Now I can see my timer. Okay, so we're going to add the ones first. And do you see how we're going to have to move one over here? Let's see what happens.
Before you start,
Oh, yeah.
round each addend to the nearest 100 to estimate the sum.
We're going to round first. 216.
Now start adding with the ones.
Before we do that, let's see where they got these numbers up here, okay? 216, when you round to the nearest 100, rounds down to 200, right? Because the 1 is our target number, and that's on the stays the same side, so we're going to keep that to the same, so that's 200. 469 rounds up to 500, because that 6 tells us to go up, right? And 199 rounds up to 200, because the 9 tells the 1 to go up 1. And so 200 and 500 is 700. 200 more gives us 900. So our estimate is 900. Now we're going to do the math, and we're going to use this 900 to kind of check our answer.
The sum is 24 ones, so record the 4 ones in the ones place and the 2 tens above the tens place. Add the tens next.
Okay, so we had 24. We recorded the 4 in the ones place and the 2 tens up here. So these are tens that we're adding now.
The sum is 18 tens. Record the 8 tens in the tens place and the 100 above the hundreds addend.
All right, so this is 8.
Now just add the hundreds.
So this is 18 tens because we're in the tens place. And so 2 and 1 is 3, 3 and 6 is 9, 9 and 9 is 18, but that's 18 tens. So we're going to put the 8 tens right here. We're going to put the 100 over here with the hundreds. Let's add those up.
The sum is 800s.
See it? 1 and 2.
The
4
estimate
plus
was
1.
900. This means 884 is a reasonable answer.
Yep, it rounds up to 900. So that's our check. We checked it. It's reasonable. We're checking to make sure it makes sense. It's close. It's almost. Those are all important math words. Reasonable.
Try adding 543 and 372.
Okay,
Let's estimate first. Select the best estimate.
Okay, they're asking for the estimate of the sum, not the individual parts here. So we're going to have to keep a little bit of it in our heads. What does 543 round to in the nearest hundreds? The 4 is our target number. It tells us that the 5 is going to go down to 500. So this one's 500. Keep that in your brain. 372, is that going to go up to 400 or back down to 300? Look at the 7. It's going to go up to 400. So we've got 500 plus about 400. What does 500 plus 400 equal? 900. That's our estimate.
That's right. 900 is a good estimate because 543 is about 500 and 372 is about 400.
Yeah.
These two numbers add to 900. Now, let's find the sum. Which vertical addition shows the correct sum?
Ooh, I like how they use the words vertical addition. That is what we're doing here. We're adding it from the top to the bottom. That's what vertical means. So they've given us 3 options here. Instead of looking at them and checking them, I would like us to do it ourselves. So 3 and 2 is what? 5. Do we have any 10s to carry over? No, because it's less than 10. This is just 5 ones. So the 5 will stay here. Got it in your brain? 4 and 7, 10s is what? That's 11 10s. So we're going to put the 1 down here and the other one over here. And so we have 1 imaginary number up here plus 5 plus 3. So 1 and 5 is 6. 6 and 3 is 9. So we should have 915.
Nice work. The sum is 915. Now let's practice with the personal math trainer.
All right, let's do a little bit of practice together here. Move me down here. Okay, so we're looking at the distance here again. We're going from Philadelphia to Boston. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's backwards. We're going from New York to Boston for 187 miles and Boston to Philly for 273 miles. So we are going to figure out about how many miles they traveled first. So we're going to do the estimate first. What do we need to find? We need to find how many cities the plane visited, how many flights the plane made, or how many miles the plane flew. What's our question here? Miles the plane flew. Okay, that's good. Now, let's look. So we know what we need to find. Part 2 says let's make an estimate, okay? So look at our 2 distances. What does 187 round to for the nearest 100? 8's our target number to tell the 1 what to do. So the 1 is going to move up to 2, right? Because 8's on that other side. So 187 rounds up to about 200. 273 also rounds up to about 300. So we've got 200 plus 300. What does that give us as our estimate? Oh dear. Well, 200 plus 300 gives me 500. So which one of those is closest? I'm not really sure they made the estimate here. That looks like they were actually adding it. Oh, well. Oh, they want us to use compatible numbers. See, I'm glad I go through this with you because this helps me. So 187, the compatible number, that's pretty close to 175. 275, 3 is pretty close to 275, okay? So 75 and 75 is going to give us $1.50, right? 150 plus 100 is 250 plus 200 is 450. And that's not one of our choices. Well, I don't like this question. Let's just, I'm going to move on. Let's go to the next step. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay. Let's do the sum here. Let's start over there. Well, I wish they would do it from this side. You know what? Boom, I'm going to stop this. I don't like it. We're going to do it my way. So I am going to stop this video and I'm going to make another one that shows you how I want you to do it and it'll tell you what you need to do next. So stop this video and we'll do another one because this math trainer is not behaving. And so I'm going to do things my own way. So stay tuned. Be right back.